The girl was trapped in a kitchen where gas was leaking, but her grandmother was only focused on playing mahjong. She couldn't hear the girl's cries for help at all. The girl dialed her mother's phone, but the battery on her watch phone was too low. Just after telling her mother that she felt very unwell, the call disconnected. The mother hurriedly called the grandmother. She asked if the child was feeling unwell, but the grandmother was afraid her daughter-in-law would blame her for playing mahjong, so she lied and said she was reading to the child. She claimed the child just didn't want to read and was pretending to feel sick. After hanging up, the mother was still worried because her daughter had always been sensible and never lied. On the contrary, the child's grandmother was always obsessed with mahjong. Before, she often forgot to pick the child up from school because of mahjong. There was even a time she almost caused a fire by forgetting to turn off the stove while playing mahjong. The woman went home herself to check. She ran upstairs and downstairs but couldn't find her daughter anywhere. She called the grandmother again, but the grandmother stopped answering her calls. Left with no choice, the woman called her husband. But at that moment, her husband was shopping with his mistress. He brushed the woman off. "The child is with my mom. There's nothing to worry about," and he hurriedly hung up. The mistress standing beside him also got a malicious idea at that moment. In fact, she had gotten divorced just so the man would marry her. Seeing this opportunity, she deliberately complained that the woman didn't know how to appreciate things. With a grandmother helping take care of the child, she wasn't even grateful and actually dared to blame the grandmother. This trick really worked. The man became even more convinced that the woman was making trouble for no reason. Meanwhile, the woman recalled her daughter's weak voice when she asked for help. She was almost going out of her mind with anxiety. At this moment, the secretary called. He had found the address of the mahjong parlor the grandmother often went to. The secretary took the woman to the mahjong parlor. As soon as they walked in, they saw a little girl sleeping on a couch. The woman rushed forward without looking closely. Only then did she realize it wasn't her daughter. But the little girl was startled by the woman and began to cry in fear. The child's grandmother, who was playing mahjong nearby, saw this scene. She thought the woman was a kidnapper. She immediately rushed over and accused her. Everyone in the mahjong parlor mistakenly thought the woman was a kidnapper. They all criticized her for trying to steal a child. Seeing that the woman was extremely emotional and that it was impossible to explain things clearly to them, the secretary pulled her away. But just as they reached the entrance, they ran into the man and his mistress. It turned out the little girl on the couch was the mistress's child. The man had come with the mistress to pick her up. Seeing this scene, the woman suppressed the rage in her heart. Finding her daughter was the most important thing right now. She told the man to immediately call his mother and ask where the child was. But at this exact moment, the mistress's mother brought the child out. When she saw the woman, she complained to the man and the mistress, saying this woman had just tried to steal the child. The mistress immediately put on a very aggrieved look. She begged the woman that if she didn't like her, she should take it out on her and not bully her child. After hearing the mistress's words, the man also believed the woman was deliberately targeting the mistress. He angrily accused the woman of having bad intentions. The woman had already lost all hope in the man. She only asked him to find out exactly where her daughter was. Once the daughter was found, she would divorce him. To prove that the woman was just making a scene, the man dialed his mother's phone. The woman snatched the phone and demanded to know where she was. The grandmother casually said she was at the senior activity center. In her panic, the woman rushed to the senior activity center without thinking further. But she searched every area, and there was no sign of her daughter at all. Only after asking passers-by did she learn there was no mahjong parlor there at all. The woman could only call her husband again. She cried as she told her husband that their daughter had called her, saying she felt very sick. She could tell that her daughter's voice was extremely weak. She needed to see her daughter. Only after making sure her daughter was safe could she feel at ease. Listening to the woman's sorrowful voice, the man began to believe that she wasn't just making trouble. He told the mistress he should go home and check. Seeing the man care about his wife, the mistress became jealous. She secretly pinched her daughter hard. The girl cried out in pain. Then the mistress put on a worried expression again. Seeing this, the man had no choice but to take the mistress and her daughter to the hospital first. The man's affection for the mistress's daughter made even the nurses feel envious. Two young nurses whispered to each other, saying this was what a good father looked like, unlike that little girl earlier who was going into emergency surgery and whose father didn't even show up. What the man never expected was that the little girl the nurses were talking about was his own biological daughter, and at that moment, the girl had already stopped breathing. It turned out the woman saw a friend on the roadside who used to play mahjong with her mother-in-law. Only then did she learn her mother-in-law had gone to another friend's house to play mahjong. When the woman arrived, the girl had already lost consciousness. The woman rushed to the hospital holding her child, but the doctor regretfully told the woman that the child had been brought in too late. While the man was anxiously watching the mistress's daughter in the ward, a doctor came in and said the child was completely fine. They could be discharged immediately. At that moment, the doctor received a phone call saying the little girl who had just died had been sent to the funeral home. The bracelet in the man's hand suddenly fell to the ground. It was something his daughter had made for him with her own hands. The man suddenly felt deeply uneasy. He hurried back home, only to find the bedroom wardrobe door open. All of his daughter's clothes were gone. His mother told him the woman had come back once and taken many things away. The man grew more and more panicked. Meanwhile, the woman was at the funeral home, holding her daughter's photo and clothes. Thinking of her daughter's lively and adorable Moseub, her heart hurt so badly she could barely breathe. Once, in order to give her daughter a better life, she worked herself to exhaustion. She had no time to spend with her daughter. Only now did she regret that she had given her daughter far too little time. She decided to shut down her company and truly be there for her daughter. But the very first thing she needed to do was to avenge her daughter.